The Gospel of Poppy. It's not innocent. Why am I burning this book? Because it's a piece of trash. It endorses and encourages young kids to get on their knees, close their eyes, and pray to Poppy, a human being behind a aspiring pop star persona. On page 55 of the Gospel of Poppy is a section called Your Prayers. It goes on until page 67 with 39 prayers to Poppy. I'm not going to read the prayers, but I'll give you just a glimpse of what they say. Poppy, our morning star, O Poppy. And it ends with Amen. Now, the morning star is obviously a trigger to try to trigger the over-the-top Christians to obviously assume she's alluding to Lucifer or Satan as the son of the morning. But the fact of the matter is, I don't even care about that. It doesn't matter. What matters is she's encouraging people to worship her, specifically impressionable young kids. So this video is about burning the Gospel of Poppy, the legacy of Poppy's career being tarnished by something extremely blasphemous. It breaks the first commandment, thou shalt not have other gods before me, and commit idolatry and worship other gods. I understand atheists don't believe in this, non-believers don't believe in this, but it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. Negative, unseen forces will follow you around and start to screw with your life when you practice idolatry. This video is a warning to people who may not understand idolatry, may not understand what demons are, what these unseen forces are. I am in a position, a very unique position. In 2010, a demonic entity appeared to me in my room. 6 months later, in 2011, I was haunted for 6 months straight by a poltergeist entity that could knock over objects in my room. So yeah, I kind of have a grasp of what a demon is. I kind of have a grasp of what an invisible entity that's negative and malicious and a trickster. These mythological creatures are not mythological. They're real. I firsthand experienced them. When you are a roommate and you co-inhabit a room with a poltergeist that knocks stuff over in your room for 6 months straight of constant, nonstop torment, and it was harassing me. I was actually late to work, at least an hour and a half one day, because it kept me up all night, knocking stuff over, knocking on stuff, sitting on stuff, pushing stuff over, pulling stuff down, playing with things in my room. The middle of the 6-month haunting attack, it jumped on me and choked me and grabbed my throat. This creature was 100% evil. It was sent by the higher ranking demon from 2010. But the Gospel of Poppy has a prayer section. Do not buy this book. Do not pray to anything other than what you know to be the supreme being of the universe. Whatever you call that being, it's up to you. But don't practice idolatry. This video is a warning, a testament. I'm standing my ground against these evil practices. And I don't do this. I've never mentioned any of the 10 Commandments in any of my videos for the past 11 years. So I don't shove my religion down your throat. Join whatever religion you want. But do not pray to what you know is a joke. Do not pray to what you know is not the supreme being. Because if you do, even jokingly, you can attract these unseen forces. An orb flew past my video in my last Poppy video, where I was just glancing through a couple passages of the Gospel of Poppy. Here is a replay of that orb, zoomed up. Judge for yourself. For the demonic, all-seeing eye attention. 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 I think it's an authentic orb. It's not fake. My windows were totally shut off. It's not from an outside source. It was an entity. I couldn't feel it. It walked in front of me, so I couldn't sense it. I couldn't see it. I noticed it during editing, but I'm sure that when I mentioned a demonic all-seeing eye being attracted to Poppy and a freaking orb flying past me, that's a huge, huge sign that Poppy is attracting some extremely dark forces. Not jokingly, this is not sarcastic, this is legitimate. This is real. I'm an actual occult researcher. I've read many occult books, only after the fact of being harassed by actual demonic entities. So I have a position where I can actually judge whether something is attracting negative forces, and Poppy's joke book, The Gospel of Poppy, is not a joke. It is attracting demonic forces. Do not mess with it. Do not pray to what you know is not the Supreme Being. If you don't believe in the Supreme Being, that's your choice. But don't pray to what you know is a joke. It's extremely blasphemous and attracts negative entities, and you don't want to attract them. They screw with your life in ways unimaginable. Take my advice, take my warnings, do what you are going to do with them, but I'm being dead serious on this subject. Kids, don't try this at home. John Razimus here with Occult Unmasked. You know, the Gospel of Poppy is extremely occult in nature, even though it attempts to be just a joke and a marketing scheme, a publicity stunt, whatever you want to call it. It has prayers. There's a prayer section, and it actually asks probably the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that are buying this book to pray to Poppy. That's the number one on the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not worship false gods. Idolatry. And Poppy's not a god. Obviously, it's a joke. She wants to portray herself as a god. But there are countless prayers in here. Well, let's see how many there actually are. 39 prayers. That is a lot of prayers. I understand people don't believe in the 10 Commandments. But idolatry has dire consequences. What kind of consequences? Oh, I don't know. Demonic entities following you around. Now, obviously, Poppy probably doesn't believe in demonic entities. I happen to be in a unique position where I know for 100% fact demons exist. I don't believe in book burning, though. Book burning is wrong. So, instead of a book, I'm gonna burn a random VHS that I found in my garage. Carly Simon, live from Martha's Vineyard. I apologize, Carly Simon, but your VHS is obsolete. We don't need it. I'm only filming this part to show at the end, to show that I'm not a book burner. I'm just burning an obsolete Carly Simon VHS. It's the closest size I could get to match the size of the Poppy book. It's a pretty close match. And it doesn't look much like a book, but from the angle I'm going to be burning it at, I guarantee people will be thinking this is a book. So I'm going to cover it up, tape on this black paper, it's sticking up. That's not good. Guess cut off the excess there. All right. Now from the angle I'm going to be showing it, hopefully it looks like a book. I've copied the label. Even from this perspective, they look very close. So let's glue on that label I printed up using wood glue. The wrong type of glue, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. Just stick on that thing close enough to where it should be. Yeah, it's a bit high. Stick down a little bit. Okay. Some edges weren't done very well. How to burn a fake Gospel of Poppy book. Okay. So I'm sure winds are starting to catch up in defiance of me burning an extremely horrible book, or am I? I don't believe in book burning, so I'm going to burn just a VHS tape, a facsimile, and let's start the burning right now. And I suspect Titanic Sinclair probably wrote the whole thing, except for the videos Poppy wrote in coordination with Titanic. And it's just a comedy marketing stunt book for publicity purposes, but the prayer section encourages little kids who buy this book to pray to Poppy as a god, which is idolatry. I understand not too many people believe in idolatry anymore. Watching TV is not idolatry. Praying to something that's not the supreme being of the universe is idolatry. If you don't believe in the supreme being of the universe, you're missing out. Take a look at the universe. Look at the stars. They didn't create themselves. Take a look at the Big Bang. I believe the Big Bang is very likely. And I believe the supreme being created the Big Bang. So yeah, you can look at it as scientific and a spiritual perspective. You don't have to be super religious focused to believe that there is something behind the creation of the universe. Sometimes I refer to the supreme being as the universe itself. The universe works through your life. Even Will Smith, quoting the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, amazing book. I pronounced his name wrong, but I read the whole thing, The Alchemist, thanks to that video I saw of Will Smith talking about it. And The Alchemist is the type of book that really uplifts and inspires you to see something more behind the universe and how it can work to your benefit, and you can find the secret without having to read that horrible book, The Secret. The real secret is follow your dreams, follow your goals, but don't have little kids pray to you as a god. That's horrible. It's a horrible thing. Demonic entities are going to follow those little kids that pray to Poppy. demonic entities already are following Poppy. Sounds like a conspiracy theory, but pretty much demonic entities, they follow almost every celebrity. And they look for celebrities that are sympathetic towards idolatry, committing horrible things, and Poppy is one of those people. It seems like she shouldn't be. She's just a YouTube star. But it's turning out that she's encouraging little kids who buy her book to pray to her. There are over 30 prayers to Poppy in the Gospel of Poppy book. It's a joke, it's a marketing scheme, but it's idolatry, and it encourages even me reading a couple pages from the book. An orb appeared. Take a look at this orb. This is a legitimate orb. I've been doing YouTube videos for 10 plus years. 6/6/2006 is when I created my first YouTube account. And that's, what is that, 11 years ago? I've never had an orb on any of my videos. But when I'm talking about the demonic all-seeing eye and Poppy maybe being attracting it with these negative things, a freaking orb zoomed past me. I'm burning this video, obviously, so people look at it. But when people look at it, it's not clickbait. I have a legitimate message behind the reason of pretending to burn the book. I don't condone book burning. I don't condone the burning of books. I think it's a bad thing. People shouldn't do it. The Germans that lost World War II, they burned books. And that's a bad thing. In the book Fahrenheit 451, they burned books. That's a bad thing. In the movie 1984, the book in 1984, they burned books, they burned newspapers, they burned anything that wasn't politically exactly up to the government standards. And that was a dystopian future. So I do not burn any books, freedom of speech. But I burn a VHS with a piece of paper over it, pretending it is a Poppy book. And it's so people can watch this and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't agree with this or that, but praying to someone? Yikes, that's scary stuff. Do not pray to Poppy. If you do, I guarantee invisible, unseen forces will take notice. As to what they're going to do, I can't predict that. I hope the best, and I would say, just say your prayers against any negative things bothering you. And you should be okay as long as you don't pray to Poppy once or twice or on a regular basis. I don't think it makes any difference. Just don't pray to her, period. It's a joke, it's a marketing scheme, it's comedy, but it crosses the line. This video is to simply state, Poppy, you and Titanic Sinclair are crossing the line. The line is idolatry, worshiping you. Negative forces love and delight in idolatry. They love and delight in the worship of anything other than the Supreme Being. So this is the legacy of Poppy's Gospel of Poppy book. Nothing but a burning pile of rubble. Poppy, you shouldn't have put in that prayer section. Extremely against the Supreme Being, against the creator of the universe, against the creator of you. Obviously, you do not believe in those things. It doesn't matter whether you believe in them or not. I'm not the type of person that shoves religion down anyone's throat. As a matter of fact, I'm not even talking about religion. I'm just talking about asking someone to pray to you, especially little impressionable kids to pray to you, is not a good thing. It's a bad thing. Even if you don't believe in the Ten Commandments. I've never shoved the Ten Commandments down anyone's throat on YouTube, and I've been on YouTube for 11 years. I've never made a single video even mentioning the Ten Commandments that I can even think of. One example. But idolatry, worshiping, asking people to worship you, that's just straight up wrong. Especially little kids that don't know any better. And this is what your legacy concerning your Gospel of Poppy book is. It's tarnishing your entire career. I understand you're an aspiring pop star, and you want to be like Katy Perry. You want to be like Gwen Stefani or whoever you look up to, and that's great. And your music actually is positive in some songs. I like a couple of your songs, but I don't like your book. I think it's a piece of trash. And I wouldn't burn it because I don't believe in book burning, but I burned a facsimile of it, which, as you can see, I put over a VHS tape. That was obsolete. And I can just say your message is obsolete if you don't at least retract or maybe stop selling the prayer section of your book. The longer you encourage impressionable young kids to worship you, the longer you're going to have negative unseen forces following you around, following your fans around. It's just a negative cycle from beginning to end. This is just a warning to you. I already know you don't believe in it. I already know you're going to see this and be sarcastically snickering. Ha ha ha, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an idiot. I do know what I'm talking about. Negative unseen forces exist. They've appeared to me. In 2010, an extreme negative unseen force appeared to me. In 2011, 6 months of being haunted by a poltergeist entity which moved objects in my room. I think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to negative unseen forces. This is a warning. If my entire YouTube channel amounts to nothing, it can at least amount to standing up to the truth and standing up against idolatry and against asking kids to worship you and pray to you. If done in comedy, it's still not good. And your book goes beyond comedy, crosses the line. There are over 30 specific prayers that you ask your fans to pray to you. Demonic entities exist, whether you believe in them or not. This is just a warning. Take it as you want. You're going to do your own thing, and that's great. But this is the legacy of the Gospel of Poppy right here. I thank you for watching. This has been John Razimus with Occult Unmasked. I'm dead serious about my message. I hope this gets some attention. It probably won't. It's going to slip through the cracks. YouTube's algorithm is going to ignore it likely, and it'll get very, very little views. But even if one Poppy fan sees this and says, you know what, maybe I shouldn't pray to Poppy, maybe that's a bad idea, then my job will have been done. I just want to warn at least one Poppy fan out there, don't pray to Poppy. Don't pray to anything other than the God you believe in. Other than the supreme being of the universe. Other than the universe itself, the creator. No matter what name you call it, it's not Poppy. Never will be Poppy. Poppy is a creation of the creator. The supreme being created Poppy. And she's spitting on that creation by asking her fans to worship her. Until next time, this Poppy chapter of my research and investigation is closed. I'm going to go on to other subjects. Be seeing you.